Come on, extend, extend. Come on, oh, come on. Sometimes he likes to extend debuffs. Sometimes he smacks them and it works. Sometimes he smacks them and it doesn't work. You know, the character's cool, but I swear it's one time no whammies every time you use him. We are, of course, talking about my latest toy warlord who I've put all of my resources into in order to make this video for you. Stick around towards the end, because towards the end of the video, I have a couple of things I want to announce about the channel and some ways that you might be able to join some weekly voice chats with me. Okay, here we go. Let's talk about Warlord. Warlord is very good in the clan boss. The reason is he obviously extends debuffs on the basic attack. Basically, you have a coin flip every time he hits with his basic to try to extend all the debuffs that are on it. And if you get all the debuffs extension, that's almost like everybody kind of taking another turn minus the damage they would have applied, because you get all those debuffs added for another turn. And the most important thing is trying to keep all of your poisons up, as well as the attack down, defense down, and weaken up all of the time. So just the extension on the basics is a huge deal. Plus his second move gives everybody on the entire team 25% heals. It will give everybody a shield based upon his max HP, but it also blocks all debuffs. So you can time it to go directly before his punch and keep everybody on your clan boss team immune to punches. Now, everybody knows that Warlord is good in the clan boss, so let's go show where he's good at besides just the clan boss. I mean, I'll show you the damage after this, and you can see that him himself doesn't do a lot of damage, but he's really a utility in helping everybody else stay alive and do damage. He increases my Nethros damage, for instance, but he himself only does like a couple million in the clan boss. He's more of sustain and increasing utility. So let's go ahead. I'll show you the end damage, and then I'm going to show you where Warlord is used in the rest of the game. And here you go. Here's the damage, 23.4 million. That's right about average for me when I click it on auto. And you can see what I was talking about. Warlord doesn't really do a large portion of that damage, but you'll notice everybody else on the team did fairly decent damage, and a good portion of the reason they're doing that damage is Warlord's help keeping them sustained. That being said, he didn't as massively just increase my damage as I was thinking he was going to. I thought for sure when I pulled this guy, I was going to go from like 22 million to 24 million on auto to 30 plus easily, but it wasn't necessarily the case. So I'll show you the gear on him, and I'll show you how I have him built, and we'll go do the dungeons now. I'm going to go over this build briefly, as it can change depending, upon what you're doing and who you are. As far as my gear goes, I just have a very easy lifesteal set on him. I tried to focus as much as I could on HP with some defense. I do have enough speed that he goes last on my counter attack. That way all the debuffs can be applied first, and then he can extend them. So he's 194 speed for me. I didn't really focus on critical damage or critical rate. I didn't really find those as important. And in order for the debuff extension to land, you do actually have to have accuracy. There is an accuracy check on that. For that reason, I do have a decent amount of accuracy on him as well. The primaries I'll show you very briefly is like defense primary with some a good amount of HP primaries there, some HP primaries, accuracy, speed, accuracy, defense, things of that rate. The weapon could probably be better, but I had to get the speed quite properly. As far as skills go, I did actually max all of the skills out. If you are using him purely in the clan boss, you do not have to max this skill at all. I would recommend getting this one, and of course the debuff extension, which will go up to 40% when fully maxed out. And if you do have masteries, I've been testing out the counterattack masteries, the exact same ones you would be having, for instance, on like a Skull Crusher. However, you could also go for the additional, where is it here? The additional chance of placing a debuff from skill or artifacts. I do believe this also would trigger on the 40% and up this to 45% on his basic, but I'm not 100% confirmed on that mechanic. That is just my guesstimate. Here I'll show you some footage of kind of some tanky teams versus each other. These are like resurrecting tanky style teams. And this is kind of where Warlord fits in the arena meta. I like to show at least one arena battle. And essentially he fits in with kind of a resistance-based tanky team that can grind people out and sustain. This isn't my preferred style of team. I much prefer the AoE nuke style with like Skull Crown Ray, things of that nature. And I believe that's the better team. But as Platinum Arena comes out, we may begin to see some new strategies, and I've been seeing some extremely tanky teams like this this style of one been doing all right in Gold for me. Obviously, this other guy here is in the same rank that I am, and he's got kind of an interesting style team as well. So I'll give it a try when Platinum Marine comes out and see if Warlord can fit in there. I do like him combined with Rosin, as you have multiple AoE decreased turn meters, and I think that can be kind of useful when you're playing grindy style teams, as you're seeing here. So he does have some use, but I'm not going to pretend that he is absolutely game-changing in the arena. He's usable, however. What it really ends up boiling down to with this guy is there's two different scenarios in which this guy is good. There's one scenario which you're a person like me, which you're very late game, heavy money spending person, and you finally pull an extremely useful character like this one, and he's going to increase the value of all of your other characters. The other scenario in which realistically this character is going to be used in positions like this one, in Magic Keeps, Arcane Keeps, Dragon, places like that, is when either a newer player or somebody without an extremely expensive or an extremely lucky roster is going to pull him and then need to fit him into essentially every single team they have, as he's just one of the best characters you own, period. I'm going to show you some of the things that he can do almost entirely by himself, just so you can get an idea. Even if he doesn't complete it, you can get an idea of what his fully maxed power kind of looks like once you got him. There you go. Warlord can solo stage 15 Arcane Keep, so that's one thing he can do. And I got 3 potions for the trouble. He can also solo Minotaur Labyrinth stage 15 by himself. He makes a decent addition to almost any other dungeon team, as he's void and has those peaks of utility that I was mentioning earlier. However, I will say that he hasn't necessarily been a massive speed improvement if you're looking for speed runs of the higher tier dungeons. He's mostly kind of a defensive utility guy, so blowing through the waves doesn't really do a whole lot. However, blocking debuffs can help, so if you're super early game and having trouble with Minotaur, blocking the debuffs can help on Hex. Plus, blocking debuffs can help on the dragon when he actually roars and goes for the stun. If you can't do enough damage to stop that from happening, the block debuffs can help there as well. So he has some Doom Priest-like use in the dungeons where debuffs can come into play. But like I was saying, when you get to kind of the later game and you're on these dungeons and you're running through them fairly quick and you're more concerned with speed than you are just being able to beat it all entirely. He doesn't really fit in that well there, I will say. So he's kind of hit or miss. He's mostly clan boss. I would say he's mostly clan boss, and obviously he's going to help in the faction wars because the orcs are kind of lackluster in the faction wars. With this new nerf that's coming up to the faction wars, hopefully with Warlord and Robar, I can actually do something with the orcs there. But play dungeons like this, Dragon, Fire Knight, he's usable, but he's not like the absolute preferred. If you pull him, you don't instantly think, wow, my Fire Knight team's going to be so much better now, Yeah, you can see these are not fast runs by any mean, and his damage is less than even the Longbeard, for instance. So for that reason, I would say Warlord's not a speedrunner, but he is somebody who, when you pull from pure utility standpoint, is going to be phenomenal when we're going into the future of this game. I do believe in the future we're going to see, and we know this, Cyril also posted this, that the counterattack meta is going to be used less, and if that's true, that means they're probably going to be having to shift the way the mechanics of the fights in like clan boss battles and stuff go. We know there's these new clan bosses coming out, like the Hydra heads and stuff, and what we've seen is it looks like there's 4 different heads, so I'm assuming it's the 3 different affinities plus a void affinity, and at that point, having void characters might be the best way to deal with all 4 affinities if they do go, and this is all speculation, okay, but if they do go, and I'm thinking, the reason I'll back this up with why I think they're going this way is I think the next clan boss is going to have all the affinities at once. That way, the best way to deal with that is to have void characters. That way, you're not at a disadvantage against any of the heads and you don't get wiped out instantly, which would make sense because voids are not only the most expensive thing in the game, but getting the void legendaries are very, very difficult. Plus, they've been filling out a lot of new void legendaries, if you've noticed. And so what I think they're trying to do is they're setting up to make it more difficult in the future for higher tier PvE if you don't have void characters. Because if you notice, what they've been doing is continually increasing the difficulty of things and closing down the niche of which characters are actually usable, you know, with the increase of Spider, you know, from 15 to 20, now even, you know, less characters are usable. The same way with like Faction Wars being more difficult, and less things are usable, less types of gear. And I think they're probably going to go that way with void characters too. So the reason I'm mentioning that now is I think it's very relevant for Warlord, because I pulled Warlord and immediately, you guys saw the video, immediately I was excited. Okay, extremely excited about pulling Warlord. And the reality of this situation is, though, he's only a really big, exciting pull because there's so few debuff extenders and there's so few void legendaries, and he's the only void legendary debuff extender, as well as having the shield and the things I was mentioning. So he's interesting because of his utility and basically being another tool in your tool belt. But as the game stands currently, I haven't been able to find Warlord to be massively, massively beneficial for somebody at my account. Now, I will also say there's a couple legendaries that I believe would massively change this. If you have Martyr, okay, she's a great legendary to pair with it because she has defense down, attack down, she has everything, right, in one kit. And if you manage to get somebody like that, or somebody like Dracomorph who has defense down with weaken and poisons all at the same time, somebody who has many of the debuffs you want for Clan Boss, and if you don't know what debuffs you want, I'll put a Clan Boss guide. I got one right up here for you that walks you through everything you need to know about Clan Boss. When you get those characters that fill multiple rows at once, that's when Warlord shines, because he comes in, extends all the debuffs from that one character like Dracomorph, and really leaves other spots available on the team. Or if it's Martyr, you extend the defense down, attack down, and you don't need those type of characters, and you can go ahead and put something else in instead. For that reason, I think Warlord and people like Vizier extenders or utility characters will get better as the game goes on, as more synergies will become available to them as new characters are introduced. So I think if you pull Warlord, you should be excited, as he'll be good early game and help you solo some of the things if you need it, or at least help carry the people you already have. And if you're late game, you should be excited, as I've already mentioned, he's another tool in your belt. Okay, so wrapping up here right at the end, guys, I wanted to say a very quick shout out and thank you to my Patrons. We currently have 14 patrons. It's about $100 a month between all of you guys. I want to thank you. That money's been going in to content creation. I'm saving up now currently for a new editing computer. So all donations that have been going through, like in the link that's on the top down below in the description, the one-time donations of things of that nature, are all going towards a new editing computer. So thanks for that. And I wanted to say to the patrons that I will now be doing a weekly voice chat. There's a patron chat within my major Discord already. You can, if you're a patron, just ping me in the Discord and I'll add you into the patron chat. And we're going to have a weekly Sunday voice chat with the patrons. So that's right. That's tonight. We're going to be doing a voice chat, and I will ping people within the Discord when that will be happening. So if you wish to join, go ahead and sign up on the Patreon links in the description. Okay, guys, thank you very much for everything. Thanks for watching this video. I hope it was informative and enjoyable. And shout out to Vexium for the new YouTube intro, logos, and all the new art that's showing up. Okay, guys, love you all, and I'll see you on the next video.